Tōkyō Underground. Tōkyō Underground Japanese Geneon Andāguraundo. Hepburn. Tōkyō Andāguraundo is a Japanese manga series by Akinobu Uraku and published by Square Enix. It was adapted into an anime television series by Pierrot and directed by Hayato Date. It was broadcast on TV Tokyo from April to September 2002. The anime series was released on DVD by Geneon Entertainment in North America and released by Manga Entertainment in the UK and by Tokyo Night Train in Australia. It aired in Canada on the digital channel G4 TV, starting on July 22, 2007. It was also aired on ABS-CBN and Hero TV in the Philippines and Adult Swim in Australia. Plot: under Tokyo's underground railway system is a world called Underground Daizayashi Andāguraundo, populated by elemental users, people who can manipulate various elements. When the Maiden of Life, Ruri Sarasa, and her bodyguard, gravity user Chelsea Rorik, escape to the surface, they take refuge with swordsman Rumina Asagi and his bespectacled best friend Jinosuke Isuzu. During a battle with the flame-using Seki, Rumina is killed and then resurrected by Ruri. The revived Rumina finds he now has the power to manipulate air, a rare talent amongst the underground people. Realizing Ruri is in danger, Rumina vows to protect her, even if it means going to the underground to rescue her from her eventual captors before she gets sacrificed. Rumina eventually goes to the underground with Chelsea and Jinosuke after Ruri is kidnapped. As soon as they arrive, they encounter a genetic experiment from the company, but manage to escape. Characters: Rumina Asagi Kaien Kong Liu Mei Nai, Asagi Rumina. Voiced by Japanese, Brad Swale English, Whale English. Rumina is a high school student who dreams of having a pretty girl, but ends up finding himself speechless when confronted with them. As the series begins, he is starting a new school year and wants to avoid continuing his reputation as a fighter. But he still fought with 3 boys at high school. However, as it made him appear to be scary and dangerous, his dream was crushed. One day he encounters 2 strange girls who change his life forever. In an effort to protect the cute Ruri from harm, Rumina fights hard, but eventually loses. Ruri's powers of life revive him, and with new life comes the amazing ability to control wind powers. Rumina joins Chelsea in protecting Ruri and joins their battle in the Tōkyō Underground. He falls in love with Ruri and has some sort of romantic feelings for Chelsea as well. Ruri Sarasa, voiced by Japanese, Chantal Strand English. Ruri is known as the Shrine Maiden of Life Shengming no Wunyu, Inachai no Miko. She is very polite and kind, and is the type to address everyone with the honorific Sama. She's very compassionate and shows signs of affection to Rumina. Ruri used her life powers to bring back Rumina from death when he is killed trying to protect her and Chelsea. Her unusual powers make her a target for evil forces in the underground. The company wants Ruri so that she can use her power to bring the dragons back to life and then use them to attack the surface world. She falls in love with Rumina. In the final volume, it is revealed that Ruri is actually a clone of Sarasa, Cashin's older sister and the original Maiden of Life. When the attempt to use Sarasa to awaken the Ron failed, Ruri was cloned to perform the task. Chelsea Rorik Cherishiroku, voiced by Japanese, Rebecca Shoichit English. Chelsea is Ruri's bodyguard/tutor and accompanies her when escaping from the underground. Chelsea controls powers related to gravity and has a personality to match. She is very dedicated to her task of protecting Ruri and would gladly lay down her life. In fact, she spends much of the early episodes bashing Rumina on the head for being too familiar with Ruri. Chelsea's gravity power is very strong, and she is a tough opponent. She always argues with Rumina and always gets into a fight with each other. However, she later respects him and also develops feelings for him. Jinosuke Isuzu Wushi Lingyan Jaiju Isuzu Jinosuke. Voiced by Japanese Gabe Kalf English. Genosuke is Rumina's best friend since childhood. He has no special elemental powers, but he is very intelligent, although he isn't exactly what one would refer to as street smart. He later uses a very useful weapon that fires elemental attacks. His personality is somewhat timid, but he has a lot of common sense and can be very fierce if he has to be. Genosuke always wears his very thick glasses that change his appearance so much that his friends can recognize him without them. Allies. Suikui Sui, a rebel against the company who uses an arrow gun, referred to Genosuke as Master Sui after he saved him from company agents. Hates the company after they took his lover away and destroyed the village they were living in. Joins in on the fight against Pierrot's Fang and discovers his lover was a mind control puppet of sound. He is able to restore her memories after the fight. Later searches for Rumina's group in the slums and joins Genosuke's team in the tournament. Shield Messiah Shiru Messiah Shiru Messiah 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 Messiah. Shield is an electric user who is first seen as a company agent sent out to confirm Rumina's elemental powers. Following the recapturing of Ruri by company agents Pierrot and Tail, she is assigned as her replacement bodyguard. As their relationship deepens, Shield undergoes a change of heart much like Chelsea and helps Ruri escape for a second time. She views Ruri as a sister following their time together. Emily Ronolf Emiria Narahu, Emiria Runarafu, Emilia Lunarif, member #2 of the Rorik fan club, helps Rumina's group for the sake of Chelsea. Beings to notice the company's corruption after seeing Pierrot's look upon Rumina. After falling to the slums, she becomes part of Genosuke's team in the tournament in hopes to find Rumina and Chelsea. Jilhertzmichit Zuru Hatsu Maisuto, Juru Hatsu Misato. Member #3 of the Rorik fan club, she can be found to be violent when someone insults Chelsea, such as Rumina calling Chelsea Blondie. After falling to the slums, she becomes part of Genosuke's team in the tournament in hopes to find Rumina and Chelsea. Kurin Gao Kulai Rin Korin Gorieo, a magnetism user and younger brother to Ru. Desires to be in a class soldier to the company, better than Kashin and Seki. When Pierrot gave him the opportunity by killing Rumina's group, he took it with his brother joining him in the effort. When he lost, as Pierrot foresaw, he was sent down to the slums with Rumina's group, Ru and Shamiri. Despite his differences, he joins Rumina's team in the tournament to get out of the slums and find his brother. Uses metal yo-yos as his weapons. He seems to have concerns and feelings for a beast hybrid girl, for Rian, a hybrid beast girl who rounds up Rumina, Chelsea, and Corin to participate in the tournament in order to gain a wish from the slum's mysterious leader. Wants to get out of the slums so she can find info on helping her with her condition. If she fights too much she can get feral, resulting in using too much energy and might die. Corin knows of her condition and promises to help her out. The company Gongxi Company contains thousands of elemental users, and most are hostile. They wish to bring complete destruction to those who dwell on the surface. Their hatred for the surface world stems from the belief that they were abandoned by them, which really isn't true since only the scientists actually knew of their existence underground. They are also the people who want to awaken the dragons called Ron to complete their revenge, and are willing to sacrifice Ruri to accomplish their goal. Chelsea and Shield both turn against the company in order to get Ruri Maiden of Life to safety and away from the company. Lord Kashin, Hueka Taishin, the leader/founder of the company, ranked #1. He organized the company to make the underground a better place. He strongly desires to take revenge on the surface after he was forced to kill his sister who was attached to a machine by the scientists. Because of how Ruri reminded Kashin of his sister, he's shown to be very caring toward her. He even was very upset at Pierrot for upsetting her. Also, Seki is his longtime friend. It is later revealed that Cashin's sister was actually the original Maiden of Life, and Ruri was cloned from her when the attempt to use her to revive the Ron failed. Pierrot by Pailong Ron, Bailong White Dragon, ranked #2 in the company, and has Ruri's custody in his jurisdiction. Proven to be the most sinister and cunning member in the company. Pierrot is a pure water user, permitting him to be unaffected by electricity and subdue people by their blood. A person's body is 80% made of water. Compared to everyone in the underground, he has no background information, which gave Seki concerns. Has a hatred toward Cashin, especially when he gave him the scars on his face. Kasagami Chong Sui Shenzin Suijin, ranked #3 in the company, a scientist in charge of finding where the Ron are sealed, reports to Pierrot on his efforts. Seki Chai Seki, red, ranked #5 in the company, a fire user, one of the Ada-class warriors, and co-founder/longtime friend of Cashin. The first company agent sent after Ruri and Chelsea and originally killed Rumina. Impressed of Rumina's wind powers after being revived by Ruri. Suspicious of Pierrot's methods and activities as he has no background info left behind by the scientists. Taylor Ashford Teru Ashufodo, the highest ranked soldier of the company. A reckless water user who loves a challenge. Went with Pierrot to capture Ruri at Rumina's school. After being defeated by Rumina, he was determined for a rematch, which he did at the underground hole. When Rumina tried to save him, Taylor told him about the underground's bitterness toward the surface, especially when his poor parents sold him to the scientists. He removed Rumina's grip and fell down the underground hole, claiming he will not die and will cross paths with Rumina again. Also referred to by Rumina as Ponytail. Ruliwo Ru Ro Ru Ro Ru Ro. A large magnetism user. Fought Chelsea and Rumina in an underground village and lost. Later joined his younger brother Korn, another magnetism user, to fight Rumina and the others, but lost again. After being thrown to the slums, joined Jinisuke's group in the tournament in hopes to find his younger brother. Sharma Rufus Shiarumaru Hiwasu. Sharuma Rufusu, a female ice user who wields a whip. Fought Chelsea at the underground hole and lost. Been spying on Rumina's group afterwards, planning a rematch with Chelsea, but ends up in the slums. Found by Shiel and joins Rumina's team in the tournament in hopes of getting out of the slums. Pierrot's Fang, a band of highly or death-sentenced criminals who help Pierrot keep the peace and search for power users. Sent after Ruri during her second escape and killed Rumina's group. They were all defeated before Ruri was recaptured by Pierrot. Members: Heat, a big guy who uses heat energy for explosions and super strength, defeated by Chelsea. Smoke, a swordsman with smoke-generating powers and multiple bladed weapons, defeated by Rumina. Sound Illusion, a sadistic child who uses sound vibration attacks and a flute to mind-control people into his slaves, like the Ron. Like the elemental power user humans, the Ron were created by the same scientists. According to Chelsea, they physically resemble dragons of mythology but are merely artificial forms of life. The Ron lie dormant, but the company intends to use Ruri's power of life to revive them and set them upon the surface world to punish those who had wronged them so many years ago. The Ron share the same bitterness as most of the underground humans. When they are finally seen, it is revealed that in their dormant state the Ron resemble dolphins and only become the dragon-like life forms through the Maiden's power. Media, manga, anime, anime,